Hey guys, welcome back to NY Sports MC. Hope you guys are having a great day. Wanted to come here with a quick video. I was planning on doing a video, and then Joe Douglas's press conference came out too, so I'm going to kind of combine what I was already planning on doing with my comments on Joe Douglas's press conference. So let's hop right into Joe's press conference. I think it was very, as to be expected, what he said. I wasn't very surprised with anything that he said during that press conference. Um, Joe Douglas knows how to kind of just be very professional with everything that he does. So really didn't give anything. He holds his cards very tight to the vest. Um, a lot of his comments were just around the fact that the head coaching hire is very important, and that is all they are focused on right now, which I couldn't agree anymore. They have to get this head coaching position right. That is the biggest part of this whole offseason. I don't care what they do at number two. I don't care what they do with any of the picks in the draft. If they don't get that position right, it doesn't matter anything else they do. So they have to get that spot right. And Joe is right to say that that's where he wants to go. When asked about Sam and prompted about Sam several times, if he would be the quarterback next year, he said the right answer. We have to get the head coach in place, and then any personnel decision is going to be a joint one, right? And that's what it needs to be. I don't think he's just trying to toe a line and not say anything. He can't come out and back Sam and say Sam's our guy and try to force that on a coach. It could limit his coaching candidates that maybe don't want to work with Sam or don't see Sam as the answer. And the same thing could be said the opposite way. If he comes out and says, you know what, we have the number two pick, we're going to go ahead and get a quarterback. Sam is available. Come call me to trade for him if you want him. What if the coach wants to work with Sam and thinks that Sam is an enticing piece? Do I agree with that? I don't think that would be the biggest of draws to our team. But you never know. You might find somebody who loved Sam who thinks that he was just poorly coached and could fix him. So you don't want to do that. Plus, you also don't want to play your hand, right? I think what they need to do is he needed to play that neutral ground, just like he did. When prompted about May, he did come out and say May's a crucial part of his team. I want to bring him back. So that was something a little bit different where he said that's going to be a priority. But I think any coach would agree that May has done a great job. And I think as long as it's reasonable, who wouldn't, why wouldn't you want to have May back? So I was fine with him saying that as well. When prompted, he did say that he didn't do a good enough job building a team as well, which, you love to hear that. Somebody just taking accountability, right? Some of it was that he didn't bring in certain people, like maybe let Robbie go, and he admitted that midway through the season that he thought Robbie was going to get more. But some of it wasn't even his fault, but he's still going to take fault for it, right? No in-game adjustments. That's not on Joe Douglas or the roster he built, right? That's the coaching staff. All these injuries, again, that has nothing to do with the first. I think he even said it too. The first nine, and it wasn't until week 9 that they actually had the top 3 wide receivers play together. Offensive lines was scrambling around all year, right? So a lot of those deficiencies on the offensive side too were not really based on his roster construction. Maybe like the Robbie thing, like we discussed, but. You just love to see him take that accountability. So, like I said, nothing really too surprising out of that press conference. Very much what I thought it would have been going into it. And then the other piece I wanted to go into is whether you want Sam or not. I know most fans are now on the spot where we have to move on. And I'm kind of coming to that too. I agree with Joe. It's, hey, they got to sit down and talk to the head coach. And the thing is, at the end of the day, we can't force either way onto a coach. We can't force them to want to work with Sam. We can't force them to not want to work with Sam and work with a rookie quarterback. Everybody has to be in agreement, and that's been one of our issues in the past is that people are getting forced on other people. Gage kind of got forced on McCagnon, right? And then you kind of have this where nobody ever picked it. So now I love that Joe Douglas is kind of picking the head coach. The Johnsons love Joe Douglas right now, so it should be a cohesive unit moving forward, and they should be able to sit down and have those discussions and see which way they want to go. But one thing I do want to see them do, and I'm not 100% sure how they can do this with no more games or anything like that, but once this head coach comes in, maybe they do it through press conferences and the head coach kind of giving a ringing endorsement, but I think that they have to try to build up the fact that they could keep Sam Darnold. Even if they don't want to, I think it's important to try to have the league think that you might. The reason for that is to try to build value and get more, right? So the number 2 pick is a very important pick in this draft. You have Penny Sewell, who is seen as one of the top prospects in this league, seen as one of the best left tackles to come out in quite some time. So that could be very, very valuable too. The Dolphins are sitting at number 3. They could really use a tackle. The Bengals are sitting at 5. They could really use a tackle. And what I would love, even if you're on the hey, Sam is not the answer train, if you can pump up enough that you think Sam is the answer and that people think around the league, hey, maybe they do stick with Sam, and you can try to somehow say, hey, we're going to trade out, right? We're going to trade out. We're going to pick up more assets to help Sam. And you get on the phone with the Bengals and you talk to them about a trade down. And then you potentially come back to the Dolphins and say, hey, you guys want Penny Sewell? Well, we're about to trade the pick to the Bengals, and that's exactly who they're coming up to get. What are you going to get to move up one spot, right? Maybe you can pick up, I highly doubt they give us their other first-round pick, which is actually their pick because the number 3 pick is the Texans, or maybe even just the Texans' second round with that pick, right? Maybe you could get another piece, move back one spot. You know the Dolphins are drafting Penny Sewell, and you could still potentially get Fields at number 3, and now you just picked up an extra pick because you played your cards the right way. Now, does that happen? I think the Dolphins would try to call our bluff and say, we think you guys are going to pick a quarterback. Go ahead, and we'll take our chances. But that is a big gamble, right? Sewell is a very, very good prospect, and if we potentially trade it to the Bengals, now the Dolphins are sitting there at number 3. Yeah, they could try to trade down and maybe get whoever is seen as the next best tackle in the draft. Maybe they'll go out and pick whoever they feel is the best wide receiver in the draft. They could use a wide receiver opposite of Devontae Parker. But I think that when you build up that Sam could be the answer, you're going to leave yourself open to more opportunities. So I hope that they can somehow do that and maybe kind of try to stir it up like we will keep him and we will trade the pick. Because like I said, we could potentially get free assets and still get the guy that most fan bases want now that Trevor Lawrence is out of the question. So that's just my thoughts. Like I said, it may be a little unrealistic to think the Dolphins will try to move to one spot. But, hey, if they feel desperate enough to try to help protect Tua, which I think they need to, maybe they do it. Like I said, but we have to be convincing that we're willing to trade out. And we have to have a substantial offer from the Bengals, possibly to use them as that leverage. But that's what I was just going to say. Like I said, it's not about if I want to keep Sam or not, but you have to let the league know that you could go that way because it could help you get other additional assets. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will have a video come out about the coaching candidates. There's a lot of, just a quick note on it, there's a lot of good people that I like. Some of the people I did not like are not being thought of for the position, so I'm happy about that. The Giants defensive coordinator just signed an extension to stay, so he will not be interviewing for any position, so he is out. We did request an interview with him, but he chose to stay. I think other teams were trying to ask him as well, so it's not just that he didn't want to come to the Jets. Maybe he just feels he's not ready for that jump yet. Maybe the Giants just offered him a bunch of money to stay as defensive coordinator, and he said, I'd rather get the money and just worry about one side of the ball. So I'm excited for this offseason, guys. I think that we're in good hands with Joe Douglas. Can't wait to see what he does. It's going to be a long process, man. We're not going to know until draft night what the Jets are going to do, obviously with the number 2 pick. And with Sam Darnold, it's going to be a bunch of smoke and mirrors from now until then. So we're just going to have to hang on tight until April and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Share this with all your friends. Let's try to build this thing up. I do plan on coming back with a live stream at some point soon. So just be on the lookout for that. Have your notifications turned on so that you'll see that. And as always, Jet up.